Good morning. Welcome to the almost end of January. And welcome to the first of the Motivational Car Podcast, brought to you by yours truly. My name's Kevin Franz. I have been an independent business owner since I was 16 years old. A little brief history here. The first business I started was as an Amway representative. I had to be sponsored because I wasn't 18 years old. And a dear friend of mine and mentor, his name is Chuck Keller, sponsored me into Amway. I want to say it was in the summer or fall of 1985. And in 1986, I had successfully built my downline big enough that I was able to go to a diamond conference seminar out in Atlanta, Georgia. That was my first exposure to seeing Zig Ziglar live, and I have been a huge Zig Ziglar fan ever since. And I just remember, how this guy was riding the cutting edge of technology and basing what he's writing about, how he's teaching others to think ahead and think outside of the box, to be proactive. Just great takeaways. I loved listening to him. I loved his motivational speaking. To this day, I still watch Zig Ziglar videos on YouTube. I read blog posts. Just an amazing inspiration to my life. Also, at the young age of 13, I started helping out my dad on Saturdays and sometimes Sunday mornings by going into his convenience store deli and helping to break down boxes, fill the cooler. Eventually I got promoted to my very first promotion, actually, ever, now that I think about it. I got promoted to helping put product on the shelves after they'd been priced and facing the shelves. Now, I had a job previous to that. I worked both for the Lincoln Courier as a newspaper carrier in Lincoln, Illinois. I made enough money to buy my first bike, and after I was able to buy my cherry sparkling red 5-speed bike with upright handlebars, I quit my job. It was maybe 6 weeks later, somebody stole my bike. Then I got a job working as a newspaper carrier for the Panagraph in Lincoln, Illinois. Now, the Panagraph was not an evening newspaper that I was used to. It was a morning newspaper. And that morning paper had to be delivered by 7 a.m. I had a problem during the summer. I usually wasn't waking up until 7 a.m. when my neighbor who lived across the way, who had the neighboring newspaper route, would wake me up by yelling through my window, "Kevin! Kevin!" Because he just got back from delivering his newspapers and saw my papers still on my front porch. First job I ever got fired from. But Dad, thank you for providing for me the first job that I ever got promoted into. And that was from box breaker downer kid to help Dad put product on the shelf kid. Thank you. So after working for my dad through high school, I did get another position for a year and a half as a salesperson, stock person for Frito-Lay. I did like that job. I also became my first sales, active, engaged salesperson job after not just having accounts given to me, of being a health club trainer. And part of my job was to facilitate health club sales. And I really loved that job, and I excelled at that job. And in the year and a half I worked for the company, I was promoted 3 times to a manager, to a multiple store manager, and then eventually to a district manager where I was managing managers. And I really loved that job. And then I came back to work for my dad until I started my own business in October 1995. More to come on that later. So we all have people that we're thankful for, we're grateful for. We all have jobs that at one point in our life, maybe we weren't successful. We have other moments in our life where we were very successful. So what distinguishes the difference between a 13-year-old getting fired for a newspaper job versus a 12-year-old being able to buy his first bike because he did so well? Is it circumstance? Is it people? Is it season of the year? Is it the people we work for? Is it the company that we're employed by? That's what this car podcast is about. It's about what distinguishes people who are out there creating the culture and dynamically influencing people to be better and more positive versus people who are struggling. And it could be a very real struggle. I personally, in my past, I struggled with depression. I have family members that have struggled with depression. It's a very real thing, and it can very realistically influence and hinder, and I hate this road, by the way, your ability to be successful if it's something that you're being momentarily or seasonally struck by. So whether it's a person, a place, a time, a thing, let's talk about what motivates us. So this is a part one of an unknown number of series yet on people who motivate us. Whether it's somebody that's a motivational speaker, a teacher, a mentor, a parent, a brother, a sister, a friend. It's important that if you want to be somebody that is going to be successful, is going to have joy in their life, then it's first and foremost important to surround ourselves with those people that are going to pour into us in a positive way. And I'm not talking that, these people have to be hyped up, full of energy drinks and yelling in your face. Be successful. Do what you're supposed to do. I don't know if you watch that television show, The Goldbergs, but I think of Murray Goldberg, the way they portray him there. His way of motivating his kids is telling them, "You're going to do it, moron." While that's endearing and humorous for the television show, the way his character's built, we as people, especially if your love language is words of affirmation, you want to be spoken to in a way that you feel encouraged and motivated and loved, not discouraged and hated upon and name-called. When people say, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me," those are lies. Lies. Names hurt. Words hurt. The most powerful thing that we as people have, that we can wield as a weapon, are our words. So choose people around you that will choose their words wisely and pour into you wisely. It is the first and foremost thing that you can do to make sure that you are portraying characteristics emulated by others around you that are successful, that are going to help you and promote you to be successful. And success is not determined by how good you are at your job. Success is greatly determined by how happy you are. If you're happy, success will come. If you're motivated, success will come. If you're happy and you're motivated, success will come tenfold. When I was 16 years old, I had another mentor, but he was very instrumental throughout my late teens and my early young adult years in making sure that he had touch points with me to pour into my life. And not in ways where he was, "Are you doing this? Have you been doing that? Well, you're never going to be successful if you don't." It was, "How are you doing? What's new? How can I help? I'll pray for that. I'll pray for you in this. Very successful person throughout his life, and also a very dear friend of mine to this day. So if you haven't surrounded yourself with somebody that can successfully pour into your life, think about who that would be. And then don't go to just a great friend who's a great friend because you've known them all your life and they do everything with you and they know all your faults and all your secrets, but they would never speak into your life. Find somebody who would be willing to speak into your life, and then give them permission to keep you accountable to being happy, to being motivated, and most importantly, to being successful at whatever your goals are. That's it for this podcast. Thank you for joining me for the very first In the Car Motivational Podcast. This is a one part of an unknown number of part series based on people. Thanks.